Well, it's a very rainy morning. We went from summer to winter very quickly. I am participating in two collaborations today. One of them is, of course, Thursday Booktube, and the other one is hashtag If I Owned a Bookstore. They are a perfect match of collaborations. Thursday Booktube is, of course, a collaboration hosted by myself and Life with Patty. Every Thursday, we encourage you to upload anything book related. We're pretty loose. Coloring books, cookbooks, bookstores, whatever you like. Just put the hashtag Thursday Booktube and tag myself and Life with Patty, and we'll get you on the playlist. Now, the tag If I Owned a Bookstore was brought to my attention by Kim of Kim's Inspired Life. She's a fellow YouTube creator and a friend of mine, and we meet up with a couple other YouTube creators once or twice a year at Olive Garden here in Northern California. So I always enjoy seeing her, but of course all of us keep in touch with each other even when we're not eating lunch. So she sent me a video by a man named Kevin Tolles. Kevin Tolles Read, and it was an example of this tag, If I Owned a Bookstore. So I'm going to read you what it said, then I'm going to talk to you about the bookstore that I would own. All right, the premise of If I Owned a Bookstore is that you are a millionaire, a billionaire at this point, and what's a millionaire nowadays? And money was not an object, and you could do the perfect bookstore. All right, here are the questions they want you to answer in the discussion. What are the hours of operation? Is there any ambient music? Do you have a coffee bar, or do you serve alcohol? Are patrons encouraged to linger by either having specific types of furnishing, chairs, tables, lighting? What is the setup for the bookstore patrons? Do you have live entertainment? Where is the bookstore located? How does it look from the outside? And what is the specialty? I'll have that information in the description box also if you want to participate in that hashtag/collaboration. I don't think there's any days or anything that needs to, not specific like that, but it's kind of fun. And I had a couple of bookstore ideas like immediately, and one came to me actually this morning in the shower, and my hair's still a little wet because I don't want to lose that wave of inspiration. Now, I don't know if these questions need to be answered in the order that they are given here, but I'm going to answer them in the order it makes sense. And also, I think I forgot to mention that, because it was on the other side of the card, is that number 9 is what is the name of the bookstore. So sorry about that. So I'm going to answer these questions, as I said, in a way that makes sense to me. So my bookstore specialty is going to be mysteries and thrillers. If you know me and you watch any of my Thursday Booktube videos, you know that I lean heavily in that direction. So it's going to be mysteries, psychological thrillers, all sorts of books in that genre. The name that I have chosen for this bookstore is the Whodunnit. Spelling is going to be below. It was the only name I could ever imagine. And it is going to be located in a big old Victorian. It seems like the perfect place for any sort of psychological thriller or mystery novel. Plus it gives lots of different rooms for different things. And it's basically going to just be an old school Victorian with an imposing entrance, some chairs on the front, and a feeling of mystery even when you look at it from the sidewalk. The hours of operation, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I want the bookstore to be open all day for people kind of looking for something to do during the day or at their lunch hour or after work. And of course, the evening period of time would be great too to have it open. It would also mean that the bookstore could host relevant activities. Ambient music. I think there should be some sound, but nothing really recognizable. I don't want elevator music and public spaces music, but something that's just below the surface that kind of gives you a little bit of white noise so you can focus on whatever you're looking at, but not too recognizable or too nosy that it pulls your attention away from the books. There's some happy medium there, so it's going to be going on pretty much all day. Just a low, quiet hum of some sort of pleasant music keeps you focused. Coffee bar or alcohol? I think coffee bar for sure, to be opened all day with snacks, cakes, sandwiches, a little separate area. Food needs to stay in the coffee bar area. I've been to bookstores that have coffee bars in them, and people are usually pretty respectful of that. Alcohol, we're not selling alcohol, but if there's an activity that would be enhanced by alcohol, then definitely there'd be some sort of wine served probably. But it's not going to be part of the sales situation there on a regular basis, just on a case-by-case basis, depending on the evening event. Are patrons encouraged to linger? Yes, they are. They're encouraged to linger in spaces that make them feel comfortable. As I'm doing a mystery, psychological thriller type situation, and I'm doing it in a Victorian, there's going to be plenty of spaces for fun things to happen. For example, I would have a whole room that is just cozies, and cozies are like Agatha Christie type mysteries where there's a lot of thinking about it, but not a lot of graphic or gore or anything like that. And they're usually English, so I would have that cozy room set up like an English parlor with comfy chairs, florals, big oak bookcases, whatever you'd find in a country house in England about 100 years ago. That seems to be stuck in my mind as the place where things would happen. So that would be a place where people who like that sort of book could go, sit, look at books, and feel like the whole room was encouraging their love of cozies. Same with the other rooms. I might have like a crime type area, mystery area, and that would be decorated differently. I would never have a room that was decorated in a way that kind of pushed people away or made them feel frightened or made them feel nervous, but something that would kind of echo the theme. And there would definitely be a children's area with Nancy Drew's, the first thing that came to my mind, and other classic mysteries, as well as new mysteries that people have written in later years for kids of nowadays. So definitely there would be an area for children and possibly an area for young adults. Maybe they'd be combined, I'm not sure, but that genre would be covered also in a room that was comfortable for them. I would definitely have good lighting and tables and places to write and take notes, because I would hope that I would not just gather readers there, but I'd also gather writers. Live entertainment, yes please. I can see having events there, writer workshops, book signings, maybe a movie night with adaptations of your favorite Whodunnit movie, maybe classics nights, maybe Alfred Hitchcock nights, book club discussions, things like that, mainly adult oriented, at least in the evening. I'd have an area of the bookstore set aside for that. And that's where if people wanted to have alcohol, they could have alcohol. Location. I would locate this in a big city, someplace with a huge population density, because you'd need the proportion or the percentage of the population that's interested in that. And I don't know that it would be a huge percentage, but the larger your population, the larger that percentage would be. Also, I would like a place that's fairly safe and has well-lighted and well-regarded public transit, because not everyone can walk there or take a car, and sometimes parking can be a problem, though if I could find a place with good parking, that would be a perk also. So basically, I want a place that's easy to get to, easy to park, and that has a lot of people that would be interested in this topic. So that's my bookstore, if I owned a bookstore. Actually, this morning in the shower, when I was thinking about this, I thought about a couple others. So I'm going to be fleshing those ideas out later. But I would love to hear other people talk about what their perfect bookstore would be like. And the hashtag is if I owned a bookstore. I'd love to hear that. I'd either love to hear it in the comments or love to have you upload that tag onto the Thursday BookTube. There's so many interests out there and so many people who find certain categories and genres so interesting. And if you were a millionaire and if money was not an object and nothing was an object, what would you like to bring to the world in that respect? So that was my idea. And I thank you so much for watching.